Chinese warship approaches U.S. destroyer, just yards away from collision in Taiwan Strait. Unusual backgrounds of two Chinese agents arrested by the FBI for targeting faith group Falun Gong. National security law Hong Kong style shadows Macau. Fiji may end police pact with the Chinese regime, showing wariness with Beijing.
A Chinese warship crossed in front of a U.S. missile destroyer while it was passing through the Taiwan Strait in a move deemed clearly instigated by the witnessing Canadian Navy. The incident occurred on June 3rd as the USS Chung Hoon DDG-93 and Canada's HMCS Montreal FFH-336 routinely transit through the waters where international law allows free navigation. According to the Canadian media Global News, China's warship cut across the bow of Chung Hoon and approached within 150 yards of the U.S. ship. This happened even as it was instructed through radio to turn its course and avoid a collision, forcing the American destroyer to reduce speed. HMCS Montreal commander Paul Mountford said the incident was clearly instigated by the Chinese and lamented their unprofessional behavior. He said, "The fact this was announced over the radio prior to doing it clearly indicated this was intentional." According to Reuters, the Chinese army said what it did was in accordance with international law. It further accused the U.S. and Canada of deliberately provoking risks, maliciously undermining regional peace and stability, and sending the wrong signal to Taiwan independence forces. In a statement detailing the encounter on June 3rd, the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command said China's actions violated the maritime rules of the road of safe passage in international waters. It added that the Chinese warship also passed in front of Chung Hoon for the second time from right to left at 2,000 yards and stayed on its left front. The statement reasserted Chung Hoon and Montreal's transit through the Taiwan Strait demonstrates the combined U.S.-Canadian commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. The U.S. military flies, sails, and operates safely and responsibly wherever international law allows. The FBI arrested two Chinese agents in Southern California, 70-year-old Chen Jun and 43-year-old Lin Feng, on May 26th for participating in the Chinese regime's criminal conspiracy against Falun Gong practitioners. According to the indictment of the U.S. Department of Justice, in May, they tried to bribe an Internal Revenue Service IRS agent in Orange County, New York, to falsely accuse an organization founded by Falun Gong practitioners. In the course of the scheme, Chen, on the recorded call, explicitly noted that the purpose of paying these bribes, which were directed and funded by the CCP government, was to carry out the CCP's aim of toppling Falun Gong. However, the FBI foiled their plan and both were arrested. Their arrest caused a stir on Chinese-language social media. Some pro-democracy activists have shared videos of their previous confrontation with Chen Jun. Chen Wenming, a pro-democracy activist in Los Angeles, once confronted Chen Jun in 2019, has just retweeted the scene where Chen Jun threatened Chen Wenming and other peaceful protesters. "If you have Chinese passports, I will take pictures of you right now and you will be arrested when you return to China. If you have U.S. passports, you won't get a visa from China." These remarks of Chen Jun aroused heated discussions. Some netizens commented, "This shows that he and China's Ministry of State Security are connected." 2 days after the incident, democracy activist Gobi Dong published an article on Dajiyuan saying that a half a month before this incident, overseas Chinese in Los Angeles held a pro-Hong Kong protest regarding the 2019 anti-extradition campaign. When the event had not ended, the CCP had already received portraits of the participants. The CCP immediately harassed family members of active members living in China. Gobi Dong wrote, "This shows that the CCP spies not only have their roots in the U.S., but they can also unscrupulously use their long arm to persecute the human rights of Chinese people living in the U.S." After Chen Jun was arrested, his unusual background attracted attention. Number 1, Chen came from the military. Number 2, he was an overseas sanctioned official of the Tianjin municipal government. Number 3, he had many titles in the CCP's United Front Work Department. Number 4, Chen is striving to become the leader of the Chinese community in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Chinese community circulated the rumor that Chen Jun had a special mission when he came to the U.S. in the late 80s. After that, Chen Jun founded many pro-CCP organizations in Southern California. Therefore, many analysts believe he had a strong bond with the CCP government. Another Chinese overseas leader arrested was Lin Feng, chairman of the Patriotic Youth League for Hong Kong in Southern California. The coalition was founded in Los Angeles on September 7, 2019, when Hong Kong was at the height of the anti-extradition movement. The The purpose of this alliance is to support the CCP's policy towards Hong Kong. Lin Feng denounced the Hong Kong protesters as violent elements, claiming their violence has reached the point of lawlessness. Chen Jun also attended Lin Feng's coalition establishment meeting, saying the civil protests in Hong Kong were made by the lawless young generation who failed to receive the correct patriotic education. On May 18th, the Legislative Assembly of Macau passed an amendment to the national security law with only one vote against it. This act is the same as the national security law that the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) regime has used to restrict fundamental human rights in Hong Kong. According to Bitter Winter, actions attributed to the three S's, sedition, secession, and subversion, will be punished like activists have endured in Hong Kong. In a recent press release, the CCP regime explained that Macau's current 2009 national security law is not tough enough and does not adequately combat new adverse challenges in terms of national security, risks, and threats. The CCP media system cited various reasons for applying the revised national security law to Macau. Specifically, it argues that Macau has been adversely affected by foreign interference and forces that support Taiwan's independence. Macau is also expected to pass new anti-espionage laws to protect state secrets, leading observers to believe that the laws will help authorities increase the repression of voices opposing the CCP. Business leaders have expressed concern that the new security law will harm tourism and the presence of foreign companies in Macau. Some of them have experienced how easily their employees in China have been accused of espionage by the authorities. The churches in Macau are also worried that they will share the same fate as those in Hong Kong, which means they will be forced to operate according to the CCP regime and praised the CCP and Xi Jinping. Bitter Winter commented that Macau's legislative reform further proves that the CCP is looking nationwide for any possible space of freedom and dissent, and such spaces are mercilessly eliminated one by one. At the Shangri-La Dialogue Defense Forum in Singapore on June 4th, Fijian Home Affairs and Immigration Minister Pheo Tikoduadua said his country might end a police cooperation agreement with the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) regime. According to Nikkei, Fiji's government and the CCP signed a memorandum of understanding in 2011 under which Fijian police would be trained in China and Chinese police deployed to Fiji. The agreement was signed under the government of former Prime Minister Frank Bainimarama. However, since Sitiveni Rabuka became Fiji's new prime minister earlier this year, the island nation's South Pacific policy towards the CCP has changed. Rabuka told local media that there was no need to continue the agreement with the CCP. Taiwan News reported that the Sitiveni Rabuka government has appreciated Taiwan's contribution to Fiji in many areas, including agriculture, law, health, education, and training. Tikoduadua told Nikkei, "We are a newly elected government and our policy agreement was made by the previous government." He continued, "We want to go back and talk to the People's Republic of China about how we view our relationship going forward." Tikoduadua added that Fiji and China needs to sit down and we will bring to the table in August our position in terms of how we view our defense and security agreement. Some countries in the Pacific are increasingly wary of the presence of the CCP in the region, especially after Beijing signed a security treaty with the Solomon Islands. During the Shangri-La Dialogue, Tikoduadua met his Australian counterpart, Richard Marles, to discuss some defense arrangements. Meanwhile, he did not meet his Chinese counterpart.